CFF presents 1% Better, a podcast about
CrossFit, nutrition, coaching, mindset, and community.
Join us as we embark in casual conversation to shed light on what life is like within these black and yellow walls. With episodes coming at you every Monday, you can follow along with Coach Whitney and Taryn as we talk shop about all things CFF. Good morning, we're here on episode 38. Today we're sitting with Coach Michelle. Coach Michelle, the word in front of your name, such a big word. You've earned it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's just me again, another week, running by myself until we can get Whitney back, and that's okay. So today we're going to talk shop with Coach Michelle. Tell us a little bit, tell us about your CrossFit journey. Where did it start? How did it go?
I started in 2018. I finally had the courage to walk through those doors. I had the privilege of watching my son go through Taryn's hockey team program, and I got to see bits and pieces, and I was like, oh, I think I can do that. And I was a little scared, not gonna lie, intimidated, and I put that off for actually a longer time than I should have.
So you just sat outside the front doors just watching Brandon work out and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wanted to, but I was scared.
What were you scared of? Because there's a lot of people, that I hear that from when I'm sitting with them in their exercise and stuff, that they're very intimidated being on the outside looking in. So what is it that, as a non-member at that time, did it frighten you being on the outside?
I wasn't sure if I could do that. Deep down. I think it was more of an excuse.
Absolutely. But
right?
A confidence thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I wasn't sure if I could do a group setting.
Okay.
Right? I thought that if we had to work out in a group setting, that everybody would judge me if I was last.
And see, at that time when you were entering in our program, that was really like the only option. And at the time we had thought it was the right option for everybody. It was come in, do foundations, and the next step was automatically group class. And as we've grown a little bit since then, we have definitely figured it out that is not the right aspect or the right avenue for every single person that comes through here. And so, now we sit down with people and talk through with them, what is going to help you the best. And that not necessarily may look like the group class. So that's interesting. And that's a major reason why that lack of confidence or being in that social setting, what types of things could be provoked. And, that might have not been the right avenue for you, but it turned out to be a great thing for you. So.
Absolutely. I'm glad I did it. The first week I came 3 days, and after the first night I was like, yes, I can do this. Right? I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the encouragement. I saw that within the first 3 days. Right? And it was just so cool. And I was kind of mad at myself why I didn't jump in before. Right? But that, like you said, it's a confidence thing. And yeah, I think I can I? And I went back and forth, to be honest.
And let's maybe back up a couple steps. The one time you did come through the front door and Tucker comes charging at you and just starts laying it out on you, barking. I've never heard him bark like that ever since then or before then. That was the only time I've heard him bark like that. Must have been smelling like meat from...
Honestly, I remember that night because I walked in and I came straight from work, and he came ripping towards me. And I heard about Tucker from Brandon, right? This little 8-year-old boy who was like, oh, I love Tucker. He's a great gym dog. We love him. He works out with us, kind of thing. And then I walked in and he was letting me know he was boss. And something was different. He was like, I can smell you from Harvest. Right?
Yeah, you better brought some hot dogs with you.
It was just I was like, okay, hey Tucker.
So you've now entered in, you've got over that confidence hump at the beginning. What has kept you going through it all? What's your reason for continuously coming back?
I love the drive. I love the people, the atmosphere. It's bar none, to be honest.
And that's not something that you walk in expecting, right?
Not at all.
You're coming for fitness, and yet this community aspect is something that just becomes such a large part in our lives, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know I needed that at the time. And it's become...
What kind of benefits has that community helped you through, or what?
Oh my gosh, so much. They don't even know, right? Yes, we have Bright Spot Fridays, and lots of times I'll put on there, hey, thanks to the members.
Actually, that's what you usually say.
That's what I
Some
usually
message thanking everybody.
Thanking everybody, because you don't even know what you've helped me with that day mentally, getting me through my hard work day, my family life, maybe something was going on. And all I did was walk in the gym and you're like, hey, Michelle, how are you today? You know, and it just makes me go, hey, you took that time to say hi and acknowledge me.
Yeah.
And everything, it takes that like 5 minutes or that 1 hour class to make me release whatever negativity I had during my day.
Sometimes when I'm sitting with new people, they're worried about, people judging them or just being around in that group scene when they first come in for foundations. And I just simply tell them, like, you might not know anybody for the first 2 minutes, but after that, those 8 people in that class are going to be waving at you, welcoming you in as you walk by. And just being seen is just something that a lot of people don't get in their average everyday life outside of a place like this, right? Or especially like even in a regular type of gym. It's you punch in and go do your thing and nobody really knows that you came or went.
No, absolutely. Like I've done the gym thing on my own, right? And that's exactly it. I'd go at 8 o'clock at night when Brandon would go to bed. I'd go do my 1 hour workout, which I thought was getting what I needed. But nobody acknowledged you. Nobody said, hey, how are you today?
Yeah.
Or some of these people, or most of these people that I've met here at CFF, I consider them like family.
Awesome.
To be honest, right? Like they've had such a huge impact on my life, and maybe they don't even know it. Now they'll know it, right?
That's cool.
Like checking in on each other and, hey, you going today? Oh, I can't wait to see you. Like, how's your day today? Great. Or if we didn't meet at the gym that night, it's a text at night. Hey, missed you today. Like I love that. That's like somebody is thinking about me and caring enough to check in to see how I was because they didn't see me that day. And I do that to other people too.
Which is not a reason why we brought you on our team, but we'll cover that coach stuff later. That caring side and helping first, that's something that we really, really value. So that it's very cool to see, other people applying that to you, but then more importantly, you applying it to other people. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Tell me some of your biggest accomplishments through your CrossFit journey. What does that look like as an athlete?
As an athlete, oh my gosh, like I've come so far in like a minimal 3 years.
Which doesn't, like that 3 years might sound like a long time for just a regular gym goer, but that's like still not even quite our average for the lifespan of our members. So yeah, you're right.
Right? Like, yeah, 3, I'm like, oh yeah, 3 years, but it's only been 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? And I love coming here and I love grinding it out and seeing what I can do. Some days, do I get, say, back squats? Do I get where I need to be at that weight or I think I'm in a PR? No, but you know what? That's okay. I got work in, I get sweaty, I get to talk to everybody, and that's okay. So yeah, I get to lift heavy stuff. A few months ago, I actually got upside down on the wall.
Oh, that's huge.
Like,
that's cool.
I was like, what? I think it was Whitney as a coach, and she's like, now we're gonna go upside down. Who wants to try? And I was like, I think I can. You know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give this a shot. And I got upside down, and it was like easy. And we all I got back upside right, I guess. And there was Whitney, myself, and somebody else. We all just kind of stood there and looked at each other. And we're like, did that just happen? And we're just kind of, oh my gosh, like I did that. Like I tried and I actually did that.
And those are awesome moments that you don't forget. That first handstand or that first handstand push up or just even getting upside down and holding your body weight upright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like crazy. That was my bright spot. I was like, I got upside down for the first time on my own and wasn't scared.
Cool.
So yeah, huge.
Have you had any other pivotal moments like that? That you can remember?
I would just say really anything. Like if
that's such a positive attitude.
Right, like
So now that you've been going through this for a while and the community is the reason you're coming back, tell me sort of some of the big accomplishments that you've achieved over the last 3 years.
Over the last 3 years, you might laugh, but I'm gonna say everything. Like every day that you come to the gym or every time that you get your workout in, that's an achievement. You walk through those doors You came here, you got to jam out to good music, you have great coaching staff, you have great people, you have a great workout. That's an achievement in itself, really, in my mind, because that's what I need.
It's such a positive aspect on everything. It's just like everything is so great, which is fantastic. No, that's good, because there's a lot of people that will struggle with stuff, like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. So tell me, like, what are those big things? What are some cool accomplishments that you've worked hard to achieve?
All right, so quite frankly, I'm super pumped and proud of this one.
You should be.
Thank you. A couple of months ago, actually, we had handstand push-ups in our workout. And I struggle with this, like to get upside down, to get my body weight upside down. Every time it come up, I'd always, nope, I'm not even gonna try. And this one time, I don't know, I just had it in my head. I was like, you gotta try it, right? And Whitney was coaching, and she's like, hey, does anybody need a spotter, need a helper? And I'm like, I just kind of put up my hand, and I was like, okay, I put up my hand. Like,
I didn't even know that you did.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, now everybody's watching, like, don't fall. But I knew she had me, right? And I just walked up to the wall, I got up there, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually up on the wall. And I came back down, and there was Whitney and myself and somebody else. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But we all kind of stood there and we looked at each other, like, and I said, that just happened. And Whitney's like, you didn't even need me. Like, I didn't even get there yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I just did that. Like, I can't believe that. Like, I got myself upside down, didn't even think about it, just went and did it, felt comfortable. Like, I'm like, I want to do them all the time.
I love handstand push-up day, because that's usually the thing, especially for the new people. And not even the new people, like you're 3 years in, you're experiencing that. It's just, when was the last time that you were upside down? Probably when you're young, like super young, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, and now you get to come to the gym and do cool shit like that. Like,
Yeah, like it was awesome, and everybody just like cheered. Like, I was like, I felt like a rock star.
It's one of those pivotal moments you just like never forget.
No, so I'm like, if I can do it, like, just keep working at it. Just have that be brave and try. Like, you don't know till you try. And that goes for everything.
I'd like to say
yourself.
That's good point. I like to say what's the worst thing that can happen, but in a handstand situation, that's a little bit different.
Well, but if you
we got you.
We got you. And then you've always had me, right? Like, trust yourself, and you know what? Wait for your coach to come help you. Like, that's what they're here for.
Has there been anything like when you first walked in and so you're new into your journey, you're like, I wish I could do that, or I'll never be able to do that, and then now it's just like an everyday thing that you don't really think about?
Oh, for sure. Like, I walked in and cardio, right? Like, growing up as a kid and a teenager, I was in shape. Like, I worked out, I played on all kinds of sports teams. Even when I was on my own here, I thought I was in shape. Like, I'm active, I do this, I do that. But I came here, and boy, oh boy, I think the first 3 days, we had burpees every day. Like, honest to goodness, every workout that I came to that first week had burpees in it. And I remember it was somebody's birthday. And there's a picture, actually, and I'm in the background taking a knee. Yes. And it was somebody's birthday burpees, and everybody's like, hey, it's birthday burpee. I'm like, nope. I did not do them. I was like, no.
Wow.
I had to take a knee because I was like, my heart is going to explode. I just did burpees every day. Now we have to do burpees again, like at the end. And there's actually a picture, because one of Brandon's friends at that time was like, hey, Mikey, like, is that you in the background taking a knee? And I'm like, yes. Okay. It was my third day.
So over the course of these 3 years, you're getting better and better, and you're achieving all these new things. And you had just been participating in the fitness aspect of the services that we offer. And what kinds of changes into your real life were you noticing just because of your work in the gym?
Well, I work at Harvest, and I have, it's very physical most days. Moving equipment, lifting, pushing, pulling, everything that we do here. So I found that it made my job a little bit easier, more efficient. I wasn't getting as tired.
Awesome.
Right? And I was stronger. So, it was just way better for me.
That is a lot of what I told to the new people, is that we're very big on enhancing the quality of life. And so, our tagline used to be real life fitness. And that was kind of like how it would overlay, is that the work you're doing in here makes everything outside of the gym that much easier. And so when you notice it, especially in your job, because that's where we spend the majority of our day on any other day, right? And we want to make that part just a little bit easier and not make a big impact on what's left in our day, right? If you expend all your energy at work and you're coming home tired, you don't get to enjoy those extra hours after work where it's just like your actual real life. So that's cool. And enhancing your quality of life is always like a major thing. And I'm glad that you got to experience that as a result of. At what point through your journey did you feel that you were ready for the next step? Or like, was there any sort of like specific events that were like, yeah, I know I need to take the next step? And what did that next step look like for you?
Okay, so I was coming to the gym, I was doing well in the programming and getting what I needed, but I was noticing that maybe I wasn't getting my lifts as heavy. I was getting played out way too soon in my workouts. So I kind of sat down, and I wasn't liking that I wasn't seeing any changes in, I'm gonna say, my body, to be honest.
Yep, physical changes, yep.
Right? And I was like, I'm working hard here, and I eat healthy, and I'm not seeing that kind of result. So I need some help here, right? So I reached out to Whitney and asked for some help, and we had a one-on-one and talked about what my goals were and what that needed to look like.
So what were your goals?
My goals, now you guys are all gonna laugh. I wanna get jacked.
That's not, why would we laugh?
That is like, I wanna walk in and be like, yeah, look at those guns.
You want to look the part, right?
Absolutely.
Like you've been putting all this time in, moving all this weight, doing all these awesome things. And like rightfully so, you want to look like you're doing those things. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not vain at all. That's
like,
awesome.
I
can get behind that for sure.
Yeah, like that's my dream. Like we even laugh sometimes when we're doing, and it's all in fun, right? Take my sweater off and everyone's like, ooh, sun's out, guns out. I'm like, yeah. And I even do a little flex because I'm like, check this out.
That's good. You're proud of it.
I like, look at this.
So for you, that was like the next step of nutrition. So you reach out to Coach Whitney and you're like, this is what I want to do. What did that process look like for you as a nutrition client?
Well, we sat down, like I said, we discussed it, and we came up with a plan that works for me.
So what was that plan?
What was that plan?
Give us the overlay of it, just the very generic details of it. That sounds weird, generic details.
Yeah.
What sorts of things did she have you focusing on?
Protein.
Okay.
Protein was a huge, well, it was pretty much non-existent in my life.
There you go.
Because working with food all day, I don't feel like...
I don't blame you. That's an interesting...
Right? Like, I always use this analogy. Hey, if you worked at McDonald's all day and flipped burgers, and you come home and your significant other or family says, hey, let's go to McDonald's, you're going to say, no, I'm out. Right? And that's how I felt. I was like, oh, I worked with food all day and, sausage. When I come home, I'm just like, no, I'm good. Like, I'll have my salad and my potatoes and whatever. And maybe I did have a little bit of protein, but it wasn't enough to fuel me to get to what I needed to do.
So you see how that was like a general... Yeah, so do you have like more of those? Like, oh, should maybe focus on water? Or
Oh, yeah.
set some daily action steps or things like that. Like that stuff we can talk about.
Okay.
So today, or not today, but at that point, she had kind of set out, here's some protein stuff that I want you to do. So whether it was like setting the amount to eat or helping guide you through that, how to incorporate it into your day after, like you said, you're exhausted of seeing it all day. What other sort of like concepts were you focusing on?
Water intake.
Which seems like one that we just beat over and over and over again, but obviously it's so important, right?
Very important. And that's all I drink is water.
Cool.
Right? I don't do coffee. I don't do anything else. So I was like, oh, come on, Whitney. Like, I drink enough water. And she's like, do me a favor. Just track it. Let's
where
see.
Did you start out?
Where did I start out? Oh, my gosh.
Were you like a leader?
Oh, at least.
Okay.
Liter and a half. So I thought I was doing okay. And she's like, no, you need to like double that. And I was like, how? But you know what? You work at it and
Just like anything else.
right?
Yeah.
And it just comes naturally.
Cool.
Right? Yeah.
What do you think has been some of the biggest things you've learned, whether about the program or yourself or just in general? What has nutrition taught you?
To be mindful and that your body,
What does that mean to you? Because that's often a word that's paired with nutrition. So, and it has different meanings. So what does that mean to you when you talk about being mindful in regards to nutrition?
that eat what you need to eat and then you can have your snacks in between. And that's okay. Like some days I struggle because it's like, that's too much for me. Like it seems like that's a full-time job for me to get everything in. That seems like that's all I'm doing is eating, right? And that's one of my biggest struggles, and I'm really working hard at that. Like, okay, I might not be hungry right now, but I need this because now I'm going to the gym and I need to have something because after that I'm going to be starving and I'm going to want to probably overdo it.
Oh, good point. And actually, it's interesting how you're saying, like, I'm working at it. And so, you know, it's not a instant change. And I think a lot of the people think that when they start nutrition, that they just need to throw everything that they're currently doing out the window and need to fit into some kind of unrealistic mold that we set for you. And that's not at all how it goes. It's, let's look at what you're doing right now and let's build little steps on top of that to make small improvements. So she might have set like some target down the road where she wants you to get to, but your consistent effort at trying to get there is ultimately what's leading to the great success that you have experienced, right?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, we sat down and we talked about what my main goal is. And that didn't happen overnight and it's still happening.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at your thing and you're 7 months in, right?
Yes.
And still trying it.
Absolutely, and it's been tough. Some days are tougher than others, and I'm not gonna lie here. Like I've struggled this last little bit, but I reached out to Whitney and she's like, how do we get you back on track?
So do you think that the coach sort of being there and accessible has been valuable for you?
Oh my gosh, 100%. There's no way that I would have continued with this on my own.
And what sorts of things are you utilizing her for?
Help, accountability. There's times where I'm like, okay, I'm not sure I need this yet today, but I don't know how to get that in. How do I go about that? And she'll break it down for me. Or if I tell her I'm having troubles this week, she'll be like, okay, don't worry about today. Let's start tomorrow. How can I help you starting tomorrow? Like today is done. Let's move on. Let's get this rolling again.
And the valuable piece being is that when these things do present themselves as barriers or problems for you, is that you take that active step in reaching out and asking for help. And I think that's sort of a tripping point for a lot of people, is that we get so caught up in, I just want a plan that tells me to do X, Y, Z, but doesn't take into account some of this real life stuff that you're talking about. Like, I'm struggling today, I need to work my way through that. How do I do that? And so being open-minded enough to approach your coach and say, I need help with this. And in return, the person can, or the coach can turn around and give you a strategy that is going to help you be successful. So with that coach's guidance and accountability, I'm just looking at your InBody results here over the past, you're okay if I share these?
Absolutely, I'm proud of those.
Yeah, no kidding, I would be too. I wish I could like take a snapshot of this graph at the bottom and share it for everybody. 7 months, now it's only 12 pounds. And I don't want to say only because.
No, honestly, it's only 12 pounds, but that's huge. But I've maintained that and I've gained muscle mass. I've lost inches. I feel better. If anything, I feel better.
So we go 12 pounds, we've gained 4 pounds of muscle, which takes a lot of time and a lot of food, like you're talking about, also a lot of work in the gym, pushing weights around. More importantly though, and I just gotta brag about that, literally I'm gonna use the word brag, 10% body fat in 7 months. And when I look at your first scan, we had 57 pounds of body fat, and then your last scan was 38, so almost 20 pounds of body fat gone.
Yeah.
So when you say that you wanna be jacked, like that's the magic happening that, you know, is showing those results. That is awesome. I remember when this scan happened last month, when he pulled me in here, like my jaw dropped when I saw this.
Yeah, I'm super happy.
It also speaks to the longevity of it, right? Like we sign up for the initial 3-month commitment and we think that in 3 months we need to have our goals accomplished, but you can see it's a long-term approach. Like you're 7 months in, almost 8 months in, and you're far exceeding your initial expectations, but you understand that it's a longer journey and it takes time to get there.
Oh, for sure. Like my initial plan was to get to my end goal by the time Brandon graduates.